Bodylynx.rocks, and we have Chelsea. She just joined in, and I'm so glad that she can make time to talk with me today. I was telling her before, like pretty much what the channel's all about, and that is getting to know you. So I'm definitely going to ask that question. How, Chelsea, did you come about or stumble upon and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do a bodybuilding show.
So it all started about 3 years ago, I believe. I actually started going to the gym with one of my coworkers, but I was just like a cardio bunny, and we kind of just messed around. We didn't really lift weights that much. I ended up getting laid off from that job and had a lot of time on my hands, so I decided to get like more serious in the gym.
Okay.
And I really learned all I did about the gym up until that point from Instagram. Like I definitely follow all those Instagram workouts, and I just got like really serious, and I started really loving like the feeling of getting stronger and like how much more weight I could lift, and like learning the form and everything like that. So then I ended up like meeting with a trainer, and it didn't really work out. We had one training session and then COVID hit. So
wow. Okay.
it just fell apart like once COVID hit. So
Right.
Then I was just working out on my own, getting stronger, like setting my own type of goals. Like, oh, I really want to do a pull-up. So like during COVID, I actually like taught myself how to do a pull-up. So then I was starting to get bored around January, I guess 2022.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to join at the Edge Fitness around me. I don't know if they have them down where you are, but the Edge Fitness, I joined their like training program, and I worked out with a trainer. So I did something different there, and I was like talking to him about it. Like I really would really like to see if I could like mentally and physically do a bodybuilding show. Because again, I'm always on Instagram, and I saw like all these people on Instagram doing it, and I was like, wow, like that's really inspiring. I wonder if I could do it. Like I really enjoy it. Like maybe I could do it. And I was all talk, no action at that point.
Okay.
So then, sorry, this is such a long story, but I promise it's
you got time. That's why you're here.
My trainer actually ended up moving to New York, and I was like, I think this is like a sign that I should maybe try and actually do it. And I was really nervous to do it at first because I really love to travel.
Okay.
And with traveling, I really like to try the cuisine of other countries. So I'm like, ooh, how am I going to do like a strict diet? Because at this point I was just counting macros, but
Right.
like I was fitting little treats into my macros. So I kind of took that as a sign when he moved to New York and wasn't working at my gym anymore that I should start like looking for a coach. So I reached out to one of a friend of my fiance's, and he recommended me to my coach now. And June 25th was the first official start of my prep. It was supposed to be like a trial prep at first, but then I was like, why am I doing all this work to not actually like do it 110%?
Right.
So I ended up like going on a vacation, and then when I got back, I said, listen, I want to make this a full out prep. And then that's what brought me to the OCB Stone Classic.
And who is your coach?
David Pulcinella. He's
Awesome.
Local to Delaware, like Delaware, PA, Jersey.
Okay. And yes. So what made you choose wellness as a category? What made you choose that category?
Well, when I went to him, I wasn't really sure about like the categories and like what they even meant.
Okay.
So he basically just took a look at me and was like, oh, you're wellness all the way. And I think it's because like I played soccer growing up, so I do have like the thicker thighs, so my lower body is dominant. So he's like, oh, you're wellness all the way. But it was weird because when I ended up chiseling down, like I felt like I could have been in bikini because I got very tiny.
Yes, you see yourself run away, right? You're like, oh my gosh, what happened to that person?
Yeah,
Did you ever
who is
wake up?
she?
Right. Did you ever walk by a mirror and be like, is that really me?
Yeah, I used to take so many pictures because I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
So as you went through all these changes, what did you learn about yourself?
I learned that I was like really doing things out of like people pleasement. So like when you're in a prep, you have to be very selfish, you know? So before prep, I would always like go to everything just to like please the person. And I felt as though like during prep, it forced me to become more selfish and say no to more things. So I really learned how to like say no and stand up for myself.
Well, look at that. I think that's the first time I've heard somebody say that, you know, that they were able to, you know, shut off some things and, you know, prioritize by just being able to say no. So that's pretty enlightening right there, for sure. So I'm sure your friends probably didn't understand, right? They probably were like, well, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, what's the point of this exercise? Like, what do you mean you can't go out and eat with us? So, yeah. So how did you handle that? Like, okay, I'm doing a show and that's it? Or did you explain to them, like, listen, in order for me to come in or to dial into my best person, I have to do certain things?
I just kind of like educated them on it, how like I couldn't eat things, and I actually had like my cousin's boyfriend's party that I literally packed all my meals for, and everyone's like, "You're not gonna drink? Oh, you could have just one taste and it will be okay." And I'm like, "No, if I'm gonna do this, like I really want to do it 100%." And I just kind of explained to them the process. And then as I started going through the process more and more, like that's when I became more like think that I do things out of like people pleasing and not because I enjoy them. So I just kind of said no to more things and just kind of tried to educate them as much as I could on what I was going through.
All right. So you were June, July, August, September, October, right? Wow. Okay. So is that the first time ever? First show ever?
Yes.
Amazing. That is so cool. So now that you've had a little taste of it, what does that mean for you next? Like what's next for you?
I'm actually in the process of a prep right now. To compete in the OCB, the Conqueror in Baltimore on May 13th.
Awesome. Look at that. And how's it going? How's everything going?
It's been good so far. I did like a kind of short growing season. I wish it was a little longer, but that's okay. So I'm actually like a little more calories than last time.
Okay.
So I say calories are high, and I mean high in bodybuilding, not in regular terms.
Yeah. So you went from like 1,200 to like 1,300, and you're like,
so I started out at 1,660 last time. That was my deficit. And this time I'm about 12 weeks out at 1,800. So for me, I'm like, oh.
Yes, happy dance. That's cool. So how often do you work out a week?
I work out 5 times weightlifting and then 6 days a week cardio.
Okay.
And then one rest day.
Oh, you get a whole rest day. That's good. So
I'm trying to keep that as long as possible.
Do you run, treadmill? Do you bike? What do you do for your cardio?
So my first show, I used to do the elliptical because I love to read books, but I found that like I was with everyday life, I was really busy. I didn't really have time to read. But now I was like, hey girl, you got a whole hour of fasted cardio that you can read. So I used to do, read on the elliptical because like the stair stepper is kind of hard to read, and then cycling I could never reach my heart rate. But this time around I decided to try the stair stepper. And I may or may not have made a mistake there. Nah, it's okay, but It's definitely harder.
Yes, a little bit. Just a tad different. Just a tad different. Well, you can mix it up and do a little stair, do a little elliptical, and then boom. Look at that. Your whole hour is gone. Just like that. So you said I believe you said your boyfriend introduced you to one of your trainers, right? How does he feel about you like competing and things like that?
He's like very, very supportive, but I felt really bad because towards the end, when I was like really hungry, like he could eat whatever he wanted. So I found that we were like bickering more than usual. Like I'd be like over dumb things. Like I'd be like, "You're breathing really loud," and he's like, "What do you want me to do? I have to breathe." So it's just kind of like towards the end when you're irritable and hungry. I felt really bad because we would just like bicker, but overall he took it very well. He was a good sport. He was like, "I know it's not you. I know you're just hungry." So I was lucky there.
And has he ever competed too?
No, he used to be a power lifter, but then he like did something with his back, so he's been kind of nervous to start up again.
That's understandable for sure. So I get it, but I'm glad that he's there to support you and to cheer you on. And yes, even through your grumbling, when your stomach's turning over, he's still like, "This is good. We're good." Aw, that's amazing. So, all right, you've got a taste of it. You're already set up for the next one. This is amazing. I love that you're continuing on to the next one. Is there anything that you want to share with folks to say, hey, for those people thinking that they can't do this as well?
I would just say, like, I went from like going out all the time and trying new restaurants and wineries and traveling, and it really doesn't take away from your daily life. Like it's only, in my case, about 4 months, 16 weeks, and during my prep I actually went on a whole week vacation. I still stayed on track.
Nice.
So you can do things still, and I find that the people who like love and support you no matter what, they understand and they'll be there for you. So I just think it's only a couple weeks out of your life. Like you can do it. It gets hard, but you just push through. If you have love and support, like it's, I won't say easy, but it's definitely helps you get through more. Yes.
It's beautiful. That is so awesome. Okay, so tell me your show again that you're going to do in PA, just so we can get that word out there.
The Conqueror.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look to see you on stage and be like screaming and hollering and hooting for you out there. By the way, how did you take it when, you stepped on stage? I do want to ask that. Like, if that was the first time out there, were you about to pass out? Was it like just a breeze? How did you feel?
You know what? It was very strange because I was like oddly really confident, and I'm not a confident person like on the regular. Like my posing coach was having a very tough time with me because I'm awkward. But I found that like when I got on stage, it just kind of came to me. Like I didn't pose the best, but it was my first show and I have more work to do on posing and such. But yeah, it was oddly like calm.
That's amazing. Yes, that's what we like to hear. So
we had a pretty good crowd at.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were trying to rev them up just because I know people don't like quiet when they get on stage, right? Because you're already can feel your heart and everything beating. So it's like, listen, it's not a library today. I know we're in a school, but it's not a library. So you gotta make noise when these people come out here, and it even though you can't see them because the lights are so bright and everything, it's just, but you can hear the hummer. You're like, yeah, this is cool. So I'm glad that you had like a good experience, and it's something that you want to continue doing, which is awesome. And I would love to talk with you again, just to see how, like maybe in a couple weeks, see how you're doing, how you're feeling, if it's getting, what's changed, and of course, what's your intake then? Because I'm sure you will have dropped down by then. And
Probably more cardio.
Yes, and I'll understand if you don't want to talk to me because you might not be in the mood. I get it. But the door is open. I love having these conversations, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you again. And we're so excited that you did the OCB Stone Classic and that it was your first show. And now you have the bug. We should have warned you, because that's all it takes is one time. And then you're like, okay, I can do this again.
Yes.
And like you said, it's all about, just seeing where you can take it to the next level, like for yourself. And that's an amazing thing, I think, for anyone.
Yes.
All right. Thank you again.
Well, thank
Chelsea.
you for having me.
Of course.
I love your energy and I love talking to you.
Thank you so much. All right.